There are three main ways Stephen Curry always gets open. The first is patience. The second is playing out in transition. The third, which is what he does the most to get open, is by utilizing his teammates. So in today's video, we're going to break down how Steph uses those three keys to always get himself open, and then also examine the biblical correlation. So let's get started. On this first play, we see Steph on the left side of the floor getting guarded by Scottie Pippen Jr., and we have Draymond on the right side with the ball. And so if you look at Paczinski, he's getting ready to set Stephen Curry a down screen. And so watch Scottie Pippen Jr. As Paczinski walks down, he ends up moving up to the top side of Stephen Curry, while Stephen Curry is the bottom man on that weak side, meaning he's the lowest defender to the baseline on the opposite side of the ball. So in Steph reading that, he's able to now go backdoor where Draymond can throw that pass because there's no weak side help because Stephen Curry was the weak side. And now he's able to get that layup by staying patient and making that read. On this next play, notice how Steph utilizes patience as a shooter. So after he gets this down screen from Jimmy and then a handoff with Draymond, he's created separation between him and his primary defender, Scottie Pippen Jr. And so this now forces Zach Edey to step up and play help. So as Steph begins to attack him, he gets into a step back to get separation from Edey and get back to that line. But now notice Scottie Pippen Jr. still chasing to try to get back. So what Steph is now going to do is pump fake once to try to clear him out his vision. And since after that first pump fake, he's still in front of him, Steph pump fakes a second time. And now Scottie Pippen Jr. moves further behind him. And Steph now has a clear look at the rim and knocks it down. Now playing in transition, which is another way Steph gets a lot of open looks. So on this play, after Desmond Bane attacks and puts a shot up, remember Stephen Curry's primary defender, Scottie Pippen Jr.? He ends up crashing the glass on Desmond Bane's miss. So now getting out in transition, Stephen Curry's primary defender isn't able to go back and match up with him because he's behind the play. So Steph from this left corner runs hard down the right lane and is able to get a pass from Jimmy Butler in an open three, but unfortunately he misses it. But he got a wide open look. On the next transition play, we have Steph guarding Conchar on the left side, and once the Warriors get the rebound, Steph ends up running hard down that left side of the floor, and he ends up forcing a mismatch against Santi Aldama. And so now with Draymond dribbling the ball toward the middle of the floor, notice Aldama's positioning in preparation for this handoff. He is up the line of the handoff, and you see he's in between that gap. So with Steph making that read, he's going to step towards a handoff and then reject it where he can now gain the space in the corner and forces Aldama to now play a closeout. So Steph reading that space in that gap, pump fakes, so now we could get an open three, but despite the fact he missed it, doesn't change the fact that you as a hooper could learn from it because he developed a high quality look. Now let's take a look at how Steph utilizes his teammates and patience to be able to get open shots. So with Pippen Jr. pressuring the ball, Steph passes it up to Buddy Hield, and Hield passes it to Draymond, and this is where Steph could get open because Draymond has Aldama guarding him, who's a big. So now with Steph going for that handoff, Pippen Jr. chases over the top because Steph's a shooter, and now as Steph begins to attack, Aldama has to now play two. And the read Steph now makes on Aldama is that he doesn't step in front of him. Rather, you'll see that Aldama is in between Steph and Draymond the entire time that Steph is dribbling down and attacking. So this leaves space in front of Steph for him to go up and get an open floater in this action. If you have not been paying attention, Skims men's underwear has been taking over, and I could testify for that myself. Before I started using Skims, no underwear I could find had the right fit, had the right comfort, but then the 5-inch boxer brief was perfect. The 5-inch boxer brief has a great compression and high quality material that allows its purpose to be diverse. So I could use it casually in my day-to-day life, or I could even wear it when I go and work out. And that is why I choose Skims over all other brands. It's versatility. I could go work out, wear Skims. I could go run errands, buy groceries, wear Skims. I could go to church, wear Skims. Doesn't matter, it fits my day-to-day life perfectly. And after you place your order, make sure you let them know I sent you. So select YouTube and then hit my channel, Discipline or Regret, in the drop-down menu that follows. So go shop Skims, the official underwear partner for the NBA, WA, and USA basketball. Again, we have Pippen Jr. pressuring Steph, but this time they're on the left side and Steph ends up getting a screen from Santos to go to his right. And with Pippen Jr. chasing over all screens, you'll see that Desmond Bane doesn't step up to go and switch onto Steph despite this being a guard screen. So what does Steph have? Open space and daylight to pull from deep and knock it down. At the start of the third quarter, the Golden State Warriors run a split action with Draymond in the post and then Steph and Jimmy on the perimeter. And although Steph was unable to get open, he's not going to give up and he's going to continue to move off the ball to continue to create open gaps. So after staying on that baseline for a little bit, he goes to that opposite side, screens for Moody, and with Ja Morant not seeing that screen coming, he ends up setting that screen. Morant and both Pippen Jr. go to Moody for a second, which now frees Steph up to curl, but unfortunately, he's unable to knock it down. But once again, he created an open shot. Now in the fourth quarter, the Warriors go back to the split action with Draymond in the post and Steph and Jimmy on the outside. But this time, Steph is able to get free, but pay attention to the one thing that made that change. So when Steph comes off this screen, you now have Pippen Jr. trailing behind. But Jaren Jackson Jr. isn't stepping over to take away Steph. Where if you look at last play to start the third quarter, Edey stepped over to help take away Steph from getting that handoff or that pass. So now Steph is able to get free, Pippen Jr. is behind him, and he's able to find that angle off the glass to get his bucket and get another open look. 30 seconds later, we're now on the left side of the floor with Jimmy in the post and Draymond's going to set a screen for Steph. But pay attention, the reason why Steph gets open is not because he's going to stay patient and wait for Draymond to set the screen. That is a factor. But the reason he's going to be open is because Zach Edey is guarding Draymond. So once Steph comes off that screen and Conchar is trailing, this is going to allow Steph to get off to that left wing and have nobody who's going to get in front of him and show a hand because Edey is dropped back from Draymond. So with Steph's patience for Draymond to get set, then Edey playing a drop, Steph gets an open three from that left side and knocks it down. So despite Steph Curry being the best shooter of all time and one of the best players in the NBA, he still continuously finds himself open because he utilizes his teammates. And this just isn't a basketball concept, this is a biblical concept. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10 says, "Two are better than one because they have a good reward for their toil. For if they fall, one will lift up his fellow, but woe to him who is alone when he falls and has not another to lift him up." These plays tie into this scripture because it shows how you as a player will not be able to do what you do best unless you allow your teammates to bear your burdens, like we see even in Galatians 6:2, and to lift you up so that you can be able to be the best player you can be, and also you doing the same for them so they can be the best player they could be. And ultimately, y'all will become the best team that y'all could be and ultimately win games. So it is key. You utilize the people around you and you serve the people around you to be able to make the best environment that's conducive for winning. So discipline or regret, you choose.